Welcome back to the World Championship Series Europe Premier League Group C. We are in our final game of the evening, and we have had a fabulous evening of StarCraft 2. Some real crazy strategies, some brilliant victories, and some sensational holds as well, all this evening in our first 4 games. Our 5th game is just moments away. Let's check the bracket and show you where we are in Group C. As I said, we're in our final match of the evening. Golden is the man in the gold box, appropriately at the top of your screen. He is our 5th player into the round of 8, which we played in the first weekend of October. Make sure you get your tickets. MMA versus MaNa. The rematch will now take place in the lower bracket. Sean's back with me. And Apollo.
Hello.
Apollo.
That's my name. Don't wear it out.
Predictor extraordinaire. We've worked out that you are actually #1 on the Fantasy League right now, as one of only 3 men in the top 30 that picked Golden to win the group. So congrats on that. That's very impressive. I mean,
thank you, mate.
I'm saying it's impressive. It is impressive, right? But don't take me the wrong way. But you're supposed to be an expert. You're supposed to get this stuff right.
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe.
There's no winning, is it? You can't really win, can you?
I had a really good feeling about him today. I watched his 2 Terran games in the round of 32 against Kras and Dacian. He looked really good, aggressive, but at the same time could play a long game. And I just felt it. I don't know what it was. I was like, this guy's going to be number 1 today.
Bit of gut feeling in there, Em.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm a massive MMA fanboy, so I was able to see through my fanboyism to actually pick Golden.
It's like fanboy goggles.
Yeah.
That second map, though. That hold.
It was a brilliant hold, yeah. The Banshee was so important.
As good as anything we've seen since MVP Season 1.
Yeah, it was up there, definitely up there. I wouldn't say it was as far, because that was coming back from 0 SCVs.
Yeah, I think he had like 40 supply against whatever it was, but it was ridiculous. But
one of the best holds we've seen in a while.
Definitely the best one we've seen, I think, of the season so far. A fabulous way of coming back. But not enough in the end. Your boy taking himself through the round of 8 again.
Yeah, I loved what Golden said in the post-game interview. He said that the mind games have come in because Hellion Banshee is the best way to play against Link Roach, especially if you see it early, because you can defend against it much, much easier. Obviously, Banshees are unstoppable, apparently. But he didn't see it until too late, and then he was 3 command centers, double engineering bay, 1 barracks, 1 factory, just not enough.
Yeah, absolutely. What I also loved about Golden as well is just picking out just a little attention to detail that he had. There was a lovely piece in the first game where he realised that he was getting proxy racks, and his overlord saw it, went the other way, and then turned back around to come back as if he were coming from top right.
Right.
To give MMA the thought, oh, he's up there, oh, okay, now I'll scout that. Just little things like that Golden's got in his armoury that see from everyone. Yeah,
he's a very, very smart player. If that had been a regular 2 barracks with Marines, the Marines and bunkers would be up to the top right, but it was a Reaper which is slow, so it didn't quite work, but if it would have, and it was what he expected it to be, then it would have been awesome.
Yeah, very good. Okay, let's move on. MMA versus MaNa. Not perhaps... Well, actually, definitely not the matchup that MaNa wanted. He absolutely did not want to play MMA after being dismantled earlier on. But he looked very good against Wellmo. And, well, we all know how good Wellmo is. So, where do you put him now? Is he still going to struggle?
Yes, he's still definitely going to struggle here. MMA is so very, very, very good. And if you think about it on a basic level, he got cheesed out in that previous series. This is going to be very difficult. MMA's not going to lose to cheese very easily. He goes Reaper every game. He spots what's going on. And the difference in the class between the first series was huge.
Nimbus has gone from MaNa. MMA's going to remove one of the remaining 6 maps. Is there any solace in any of these maps for MaNa? I'm really stabbing in the dark here a little bit.
But the maps aren't going to... I mean, sure, they assist you a little bit, but even if you get a map that's favoured in your side, you're playing MMA.
Yeah, no,
it doesn't matter.
And we're not going to get one because Foxtrot's probably going to go here as well. There you go.
Same
so Cavalier,
maps
Deadwing, Foxtrot, Nimbus, no change whatsoever.
So I think it really comes down to MaNa just buckling up, playing a much tighter game than previously, because it was, at the end of the day, his own mistakes that cost him the series.
Yeah. Put yourself in MaNa's position right now. You know you've lost heavily the first game. What do? Do you change things? Do you become a bit more random? Do you play safe? Do you scout early? What do you do?
I would play the same again, exactly the same again, because I know that MaNa would have come into that series with a lot of preparation. It was his first game of the day. He knew he was playing MMA. He would have prepared against it. Do what you prepared, but do it better. I wouldn't suggest changes.
So just remove the mistakes, in other words.
Yeah. And then because we didn't even get to see his full plan unfold because he got stopped by his own mistakes before he could get into the swing of things.
Yeah, okay. While they set up, just a very, very quick look forward to tomorrow because I want to get people hyped and excited about tomorrow. it's Group D for the death of Daishi. I think that's the only way I can put it. I've already spoken to him as well. He knows that's what I've called it. Yeah. It's a really tough group, joking aside.
I mean, Daishi can, you know, he's decent against Terran, but he's never, ever, ever taken a single map away from 4GG, and he's landed in the group with 2 players who are contesting for the title. It's unbelievably difficult for him.
He's a combined 34 and 4. Yeah. He's won 4 maps against the 3 players and lost 34. And it's 18-0 with 4GG. I mean, he even knows it himself. He was like, I'm 0 and 18 against 4GG. Yeah. Why could I have played anyone else? Why did I have to play him? Why did I have to play my teammate?
I know for a fact that he wished he was in Group A with a group full of Europeans.
I think they all do.
He's actually just landed in the most difficult group he ever could have landed in.
But I did speak to him as well just before we came on air, and I said to him, actually, that's all right for you. No one will expect you to win. There won't be any expectations there. You can be really relaxed, really chilled, play some crazy strategies, play some cheese, do whatever you want. And the other pressure is on all the other 3 players.
Yeah, but to be honest, that's actually where Daishi excels. Yeah. You've seen him at Home Story Cups when he's wearing sunglasses and not giving a damn really, and just kind of playing however he wants to play. He's actually got results doing it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other 3 players are fantastic. I mean, we've got MC, who won Season 1. We've got Stardust, who won Season 2. Both of them are qualified for BlizzCon. Yeah. No pressure on them in that respect, but 4GG is probably the man who's under the most pressure in that group.
Yeah, I mean, he should beat Daishi, of course, but going up against 2 champions there, especially because 4GG is looking brilliant this season. If he hadn't landed in that group, I would have said definite top 8, but because he has, now it's going to be very hard for him.
Yeah, very tricky. Okay, MMA and MaNa are almost ready, it looks like, so I don't even want to ask you, really, because I think I know the answer. This is MMA's to lose, isn't it?
Yeah, it should be 2-0. It's his BlizzCon place at hand, and when anything gets in the way of that, is when he just goes gung-ho and won't let you even get close to come to a win.
All right, thank you very much, Apollo. We're from Apollo at the end of the program as he wraps up the evening with our other 2 commentators who are waiting for us to bring you the final game of Group C. Does MMA's BlizzCon dream stay alive? MaNa's in his way. Let's find out whether he can do it with your commentary team, Kalaris and Hasselwabs.
All right, second place on the line in Group C between MaNa and MMA. King Sage on Station will be our first map between these 2, and oh boy, has MaNa got a tall order to fill.
Definitely. The first best of 3 didn't look good at all for him. Nothing was going his way, and yeah, he has to bring his A game, probably even more than his A game.
Yeah.
While MMA has to play weaker than the games before. Because he looked so strong. Even in the games he lost against Golden, he looked very strong. And there was just, some points, there was just no way of coming back, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, MaNa has 3 wins, 6 losses against MMA. Not a good record. And most of the games, I believe, were in Wings of Liberty. And since Heart of the Swarm, I believe MMA won almost every single engagement.
Yeah, it's been difficult for MaNa, that's for sure. And MaNa, you know, before this was theorizing, you know, do I just go standard? Do I try what I did before? What do I do? Because there is not a whole lot that is going to break this guy in this matchup. If he is able to overcome this, then that's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive. But it's going to take a very, very minor miracle at this point.
I was talking to MaNa. I was watching the MMA Golden Games, and MaNa was kind of cheering that MMA would win because he said he would rather like to play against Golden.
All right, then.
Didn't really work out.
Well, let's get into it. Game number 1 of our final series of the night, as we have spawning down to the bottom right-hand side. It's our Red Terran representing Team Acer. It is MMA. And up to the top left, we have our blue Protoss representing Team Liquid in colors. It is MaNa.
So it's King Sejong Station again, as in the first best of 3, and MMA was going for Reaper into Proxy Factory into Proxy Starport. I doubt he will do it again. Maybe we'll see a complete switch up, maybe something like CC first, just to throw MaNa off his game. On the other hand, MaNa, both games he played, he was going for an early Twilight Council with Blink, followed up by Colossus. On the first map on King Sejong, after he defended the Widowmine drop, he was doing some decent damage. He was delaying Stimpack, was able to kill a few units, but not really able to put a lot of pressure on the Terran and then falling apart afterwards. And on the second map, it didn't really work out at all. So maybe he will switch up his playstyle even more. Maybe something like a Stargate would be nice. Maybe an early Robo. Just to, like, if he wants to play standard, he could try to go like all the way.
Yeah, I still think MaNa has to bring, I guess, some tricks to the table against MMA here, because MMA's straight-up game is going to be very solid. MMA understands this matchup very, very well. He understands when poking forwards with a few units, what their reaction will be forced out of the Protoss opponent, and then, you know, an extra follow-up after that, what that's going to do to his Protoss opponent. And generally, dealing with someone who fully understands the nuances early on in this matchup can be very, very hard for a Protoss. So, when it comes to MMA is going to be looking strong from the very get-go here.
And MMA, as you mentioned, he's very smart at getting the photon overcharge at moments where the pros don't want to use it.
Baiting it out.
Yeah, bait it out. And also overall, like, very good Doom drops, even though some people might think it's very easy, but he really takes the best opportunities to go for it. And he's looking very, very solid against Protoss. Almost no flaws from what I saw in the first best of 3.
Yeah, it's about drawing your opponent away from the locations and then hitting hard elsewhere. But we already saw him on this map exploit his opponent very, very well. A great drop on the right-hand side. Vikings in tandem to bring down and gun down those Colossi. So MaNa, even with standard openers, you know, Colossus play and then transitioning on, still has to be wary as to what could happen. This probe, sneaky little guy, has been able to keep himself alive for a while.
It's going to be a second scout, I believe. MaNa's not going to proxy anything with this scout, I think. With his probe, sorry. I think he's trying to get in a second time to scout the factory timing or the additional barracks. And MMA knows about it. His Reaper is on patrol.
Yeah, over a large location, because he knows that the root probe is somewhere and trying to get up this ramp, but he doesn't know which angle it's going to be coming from, so you need to cover all of this area. Probe is being super sneaky now and is going to go all the way. Oh. Uh-oh, wait a minute. That's not where I was expecting it to go. It's actually
That doesn't look like a scout to me.
No. That does not.
So how much gas does he have? Around... Okay, he just spent a few. I guess he's... What did he build with 100 gas? Ah, Robo, okay.
Robo.
So what could it be? Just a... Yeah.
With the positioning, maybe a slightly delayed Stargate or something, or...
Yeah. Or maybe we just have to wait. It could be still just for scouting.
It could just be for later on to end up throwing down a pylon. I mean, there are options available here to MaNa.
Definitely, yeah. MMA is getting Hellions, by the way, with a reactor. So he was switching up the reactor from the barracks to the factory, getting Hellions, and he will get a medevac as well. So it will be, I think, 6 Marines, 4 Hellions, and a medevac flying over to the Protoss, or the Hellions will move and the Marines will be in the medevac.
Go flash style. It's always nice to see that build come out. As Mothership caught. One more shot. Okay, Stalker's going to have to get back there as well.
There's no way out for the Reapers. It will eventually die. There we go. And did you see the Robo? Yes. Yeah. Okay. So he knows exactly what's going on. And yeah, you were right about the Stargate. It's not being proxied.
Yeah.
But it is a delayed Stargate.
I have seen him do this a few times. He has liked to give it a go, and it can throw the Terran off guard. I mean, if you see the Robo, especially, of all things, if you've given your opponent the information of a Robo, are you really expecting an Oracle to fly in or something?
You want him to see the Robo.
Yes.
That's a very good point, yeah. You want to see, like, he should scout the Robo, and then you're like, okay, now I drop my Stargate. On the other hand, MMA will most likely find out about the Stargate because he's going for such an aggressive opening here. 4 Hellions with a medevac drop. The Observer saw the medevac though, and the probe at the Watchtower sees exactly the flying route, so that's a very good scout for MaNa.
And Photon Overcharge is very important here because he's still only on 1 gateway, right? Whilst all of this is going on, adding on extra gateways now, but doesn't have too many units available to him. That's why this Mothership Call is in patrol.
I like it. MaNa is evacuating is natural, knowing that he has only 1 gate so far, so he doesn't have a lot of units, so he makes sure that the probe losses he's suffering is very minimal.
Yeah, Stalker's going to try and hold on against these Marines. There's only 6 Marines, you got to remember. Stargate hasn't been spotted yet. Good block at the front, whilst the Marines try and go work on the probes, and they're actually killing quite a few.
Yeah, he's getting... and he also killed a Stalker. This is going horrible for MaNa again.
That medevac is adding so much longevity, even just to a few Marines here, which kills off 10 workers overall.
Oh, and it survives. I can't believe it.
Wow. Wow,
Does he get
wow.
the last Stalker? No, not quite. He was not really focusing. There is an Oracle on the map, though.
Yeah.
Can he deal a lot of damage to the Terran?
Well, he spotted the Stargate during all of that. He's scrambling to get an engineering bay up to try and defend against it, but he does have a few Marines back at home. It really depends where this Oracle's going to hit, because for now, the Observer is keeping good eyes on the positioning of the Marines at least. And he's going to go in, get a few more kills, even things up a little bit. Actually goes for the Marines to start things off, but Marines from the left-hand side, he's got to be very careful. He actually takes down a lot of them, in fact, all of them. Wow.
But is it really worth it? I mean, if he... Ah, yeah, okay. He still has a lot of energy, so yes, it was definitely worth it. 13, 14 kills. Keep in mind, 7 of them have been Marines, but wow, this is Oracle.
All right, chill out, Oracle. Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go. 20 kills. That was an angry one.
That was an angry who just releases it. Oh, well. Viking's going to hunt that down now.
MMA is adding tanks. He does have 3 tanks right now. This is something we saw from Maru playing. It was also on King Sejong Station, I believe, in the GSL.
And Hellion's being ferried into the Marine. The Oracle will end up dying. Hellion's looking for an opportunity.
So risky. 7 HP on the medevac, but good control there by MMA.
Yeah. Trying to get a few workers killed here. Doubling up those shots so they can just focus down probes one at a time. But at least he saw behind all of that the fact that the forge was being worked on. There's a second forge going down. He knows he's going to be playing against that double forge kind of style.
Yeah, so this is a switch up from like not only the Stargate, but also way earlier forges from what we saw in the first best of 3. MaNa was getting a lot of units and delaying his forges for quite a while. And the push out in 6... Ah, it was Teja. It wasn't...
He's going to the rocks.
Yeah. It was Teja against Stardust.
Yeah.
Now I remember where I saw it.
But if the rocks are broken down, how effective is this really going to be? He's got 12 Marines with this, but if that Immortal actually catches a siege tank...
MaNa knew exactly what was going on.
Yeah.
He's actually greeting the Terran army. Yeah, he saw the Observer, obviously saw the army
Saw
leaving.
the siege tanks.
Yeah.
So understood that there was going to be the potential of this as he's splitting off his Immortals now to try and get a little bit of a better engagement on this if it's to push forwards. And it looks like MMA has kind of given up that territory. Doesn't want to risk too much here.
But it's a huge commitment for MMA.
Yeah.
He has another tank at home and still the tech lab on the factory, so he was definitely planning to do some damage with it. And I have to tell you that tanks in the Bioforce, the later the game goes, the worse they are. They don't provide a lot of sustain or even damage in the fight unless you have a perfect sieged up position with buildings in front of you or something like this.
Yeah, definitely. Especially once the Protoss force becomes more fully rounded, we should say, like with Charge being in there, for example, for Zealots to get like right on top of the army, as well as all the Colossi that are now going to enter the fray as well.
Yeah, definitely. 100% right. And MaNa is getting the 3rd base on the left side. That's... you can do that. It's definitely a possibility, especially after you took down the rocks and you don't want to be spread that much. But does he... Yeah, I think he saw the army once again.
Ooh.
He lost a little bit of track, though.
He's going to keep going, so he will find it. I was expecting him to pull back there and go for another angle, but the siege tanks are already heading over here as well. Thermal Lance is quite an important upgrade against something like this. You do need range against an army as range-heavy as this army.
Yeah, you need range in general. Even against Bio, you definitely want to have the range. But he has 2 Immortals, right, with the composition, so... They provide a lot of firepower.
An army supply, tip of the hat to Todd, as he's always going on about 81 army supply against, say, around 50 some. But MaNa has actually been able to rocket up from that 50 position to 70 now quite rapidly to try and reinforce. So he's going to have to hold on at this location, but siege tanks are going to slowly creep forwards towards that Nexus.
And he has Vikings as well, so... He has a lot of long range against the Colossus. He's actually getting in position to shoot at the Nexus.
Yeah, and he's forcing the army to come to him, basically. That's a great siege line he's got with no opportunity to flank for MaNa. This Nexus is under a lot of threat right now.
MMA has to be careful, though. A lot of shots in the Bio there, but I think he will get the Nexus eventually. One more stim, one more hit of the Marauders, and it will fall down.
Bye-bye, Nexus. Good pick up there by MMA to start things off in this series.
There seems to be a flank on the right side. A few units on the minimap walking down. It's only 3 Zealots, though. Will they... That's not a very strong flank.
Not the best. One siege tank falls instantly at the front lines there as he's going to move on forwards. No Zealot charge during this, but a very, very heavy Zealot composition as they manage to get on top of this army. The Zealots from the back actually do help quite a bit. And the blink forwards.
The medevac is full of units, but it actually survives. 24 HP. And yeah, you were right about so many Zealots, even though there was no charge. He got so many Zealots that they tanks so much damage from the tanks, from the bio, from basically everything. And MMA just overstayed his welcome. He got what he came for. Kill the Nexus.
And then back out.
And then back out. That's what you should do, I guess. But he was staying a little bit too long and got punished for it. Luckily for him, he almost saved every single bio unit. He lost his tanks, and as I said before, I don't think they provide that much in the later stages. And we will see if this drop is actually doing some counter damage now.
Yeah, but without the tanks, he felt a little bit vulnerable after he'd lost that, so brings back his third command center, making sure he's okay. And this drop, in essence, has seen the positioning of the army now, so he probably could just fly back there and start mining from his third after seeing that.
Free Viking there, definitely not planned at all. Especially against the Colossus style.
Yeah, that's true. How many Colossi are we up to? 2 at the moment. Third one's just about to pop. And 2-2 upgrades are on the way, technically for both players, but MaNa has an opportunity to chrono boost furiously into those forges and actually find himself with the 2-2 timing, but how often are you going to try and hit that against the Terran in this position?
I mean, the 2-2 for the Terran is on the way. The +2 attack is pretty far as well, so it's going to be hard to hit 2-2 against 1-1. But you could go for that. I mean, MaNa is trying to get his third Nexus. He stopped his pro production for a while, though, I believe. So he's on 53, yeah. MMA is on 52, so very even on that, but keep in mind the mules. And the DTs will maybe make the difference here.
Yeah, they've been mixed in a very interesting timing, actually. Not one that you normally see too much of. So landing a Viking and might even, if he dropped a scan for that, then...
To be honest, I completely missed that as well, that he made the Dark Shrine. And it's a beautiful timing.
And this is why Zealot Charge is pretty damn good against those tanks, especially when they were naked. The bio was on the left and the right-hand side, leaving them exposed. MaNa's going to jump at the opportunity to take down a lot of this army. And, I mean, where are the Viking numbers? The Colossi go uncontested.
Yeah, he only has very few Vikings on the field. He did some damage from the DTs as well. He's down to 43 SCV, so actually I really have to say I completely missed the Dark Shrine, and it's a brilliant move by MaNa. As you mentioned, it's at a timing where the Terran really doesn't expect it, especially just landing the third, not having a turret there. And MaNa not saturating his third at all. He's just going all-out units right now.
And this is a ballsy move here by MMA. He needs actually quite a lot of units to back at home against these 3 Colossi, that are, as well as this force is going to be pushing forwards.
Wow.
GG, there you go. It was just too much.
Wow.
MMA realized he was probably going to lose that push anyway, I feel, and then was like, well, if you're not going to go for it, I may as well try and do some damage elsewhere. But he went for it, and that was just the case.
That was definitely not the right strategic call by MMA, I believe. He was so dominant with his standard like bio medevac Vikings.
Yes.
And this time he was going for kind of gimmicky build where you siege up the gas like from the low ground, but he didn't even get to the position. And I mean, yes, he got the Nexus, but MaNa was not really building that many probes anyways.
Yeah.
He was like, okay, take my Nexus, I take your whole army.
The observer in the end for MaNa just read the game well. Saw those siege tanks and he's like, well, you know, this is a possibility. If I break down these rocks, I mean, is it really hurting me at this point? Like, it's only ever going to aid me against a siege tank-based play. So game number 1 goes to MaNa. And we now are in a situation where a previous WCS champion is 1 game away from being eliminated in a group that was considered by a lot his.
Yeah, absolutely right. I wonder if MMA maybe thought he would be further behind after losing so many SCVs to the Oracle. Because I was just checking the income tab, or the resource graph. He was basically always ahead of MaNa, because MaNa lost a lot of probes to the Marines, but maybe he wasn't really 100% sure how many probes he got.
Right.
And how much damage he took from the Oracle. Because he was very committed to his siege tank attack.
Well, next map is going to be Merry-Go-Round.
Oh.
And, well, we see a lot of very aggressive players from Protoss on this map.
We see MMA not happy at all so far with this map, as you mentioned.
He's got to enter killer mode. MMA has got to actually enter killer mode at this point, because he's 1 map away from being eliminated in the round of 16, which is going into this season, looking to move on to BlizzCon. This is not where he wants to be. Not at all. Of course, he wants that BlizzCon position. He's ranked number 17. He's on the bubble. So let's get into it. Game number 2, spawning up to the top right-hand corner. It's that man in red, representing Team Acer. It is MMA. Down to the south, we have our blue Protoss, 1 game away from the round of 8. And that's important because it would be his first ever round of 8 in WCS Europe. It is Liquid MaNa.
Yeah, and a very, very nice mix-up as well with the late Stargate. A very good call with the Oracle to go for the Marines first, then focus on the SCVs. MMA did not try to slide them away. Was just basically standing there and taking the shots. And yeah, he lost a lot of SCVs, he lost a lot of firepower with the Marines that were gone. And it's going to be tough. Marigo is definitely a map where he could be tricky as well. MaNa, that is, obviously.
And remember, folks, what's very important here, what's very, very important for MMA is the fact that if he does not do well here, if he does not move on to the round of 8, which is oh so important for his qualification through to BlizzCon, is that going to DreamHack, he would need at least a top, well, he would need a top 2 finish,
top 2
basically.
Even. Okay, wow.
Big stakes are on the line for MMA here. Big stakes indeed, because if he does not hit it home here, all year long, he's on about BlizzCon, 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 BlizzCon. I want to go to BlizzCon. Yeah. He remembers the roar of that crowd back when he won at BlizzCon, and he wants that feeling again.
And man, DreamHack Stockholm is very, very... has a very tough lineup, so...
It's getting tense.
Aiming for the top 2, that's the final, right? So...
You've got people like Sue there. I mean, I could go through the list for days, but Sue alone, for me, is like, whoa. So...
He has just to, like, in the first best of 3, he looked very strong. You just have to remember, like, what he did there. And I think if he plays like that, he definitely has a very good shot of beating MaNa. And MaNa, I think, he should take the same way again. Be a little bit tricky. Not too much though, because I think there was a very nice build order. Robo into Stargate, into Colossus with Blink. Looked very, very nice. Even 2 Forges, double upgrades.
Yeah.
So he switched it up, and it worked out very well for him. But yeah, I have to say, MMA's firepower overall has been way weaker because of the tank building. And
definitely.
No Vikings at all.
I mean, how are you going to deal with those 3 Colossi, right?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? There's not a whole lot. He tried to pit all of his hopes eventually after having I would say, a very terrible engagement angle from him with the 3 siege tanks once Zealot Charge was done, because of how powerful it is against that. You cannot have naked siege tanks in that situation. Not at all. The Bio has to be in front and has to be dealing with the Zealots very effectively.
And then you get friendly fire by the tanks when it's Zealot Charge in. It's like, yeah, I agree. It's it was a gimmicky build by MMA as well, and it didn't pay off. So on merry-go-round, he's playing it more standard right now. Reaper into CC. Once again, the Reaper... very defensive. He didn't scout with it. He's now checking for any kind of proxy stuff. He might be able to find the probe.
He's going to have to check open area, which is oftentimes not that common. Everyone normally just checks around perimeters. As for now, the Reaper is not currently on the path to find that probe.
No.
Who's on a watchtower, and that will make it even harder for that to find.
But they will probably greet each other.
They're going to converge. Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Hi. What up?
Good pickup by MMA.
Where are you going?
I'll catch you.
We'll take out the probe. We'll check for any proxies in the main base. I really love it by MMA to see that.
If you're in this situation, Hasu, you are a pro Protoss player. What would you mind be going to here? You're 1 up against MMA. You're 1 match away from the round of 8. Do you, on a map like merry-go-round, do you risk it? Do you go for something aggressive? Do you try and break him?
I think if you have a build prepared, you should definitely go for that. I mean, MaNa, I'm pretty sure he knows that the first map, it wasn't a gift, but it was way easier from the strategic choice by MMA than it would have been a straight-up game. So, yeah, he's leading 1-0, and I think if he has something prepared, he should definitely show it now or never, because if you win 2-0, perfect.
Well, there's the Robo Bay. Very, very fast here during all of this. And the thing is, though, is that MMA is moving across the map. He's just finished concussive shells, and he's going to be poking and prodding. So how well is this little defense going to be able to hold up?
One of the Stalkers, okay.
Realizes concussive shells is there. He knows he has to be very, very careful with these Stalkers. Photon Overcharge is going to be activated. He tries to deny the Reaper from jumping in. That Reaper was looking for the opportunity to find information inside his opponent's base.
I think MaNa is going for an all-in here. What does the scan see? Where is he scanning right now? Actually, he was scanning for an observer. Okay, yeah, and he got it. That's very important as well. It's very, very annoying for the Protoss player, but I think MaNa is going for a 2-base Colossus all in here.
That's why I got the feeling of as well.
But we have to wait and see. He's still he's very little on probes right now. He halted the production for a while when the attack was coming because he was very scared of it.
And I mean, look how compared to the previous time, look how defensively he's playing. He's got so many Marines in the main base waiting for something kind of a little bit crazy coming along, but the first Colossus is already on the way.
Yeah, but the supply block really hurts him. 60-60, he had to build 2 pylons. It's very, very annoying, and now he's getting a forge behind it. Is that because he noticed that his timing might be too late now? So he's going for a standard follow-up. He's going to get Blink, he's going to get +1 armor. Obviously, with the 3rd Colossus, or like 2nd, 3rd Colossus, you're going to get Thermal Lance. The question is, when will he decide to get into High Templars? Or will he stick on Coloss production for a while?
Yeah, we'll find out in a little bit. He's actually keeping these Colossi hidden at the back of his mineral line, but the scan there does reveal the extent of MaNa's current tech. So, and sees also the +1 weapon starting under that scan. So it's got to give him a little bit of comfort, considering, you know, that takes a while.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, if you see the forge like this, you only saw 3 gateways. It could be still an all-in. But I think for now he feels okay. Like, he will try to confirm with his first 2 medevacs what kind of build order that is. He will try to poke in and see if MaNa has a lot of gateways or not.
And MaNa's setting up pylons on the left-hand side, so these pylons to me scream the idea of, well, trying to spot medevacs if they were coming along. Of course, they can reinforce and kind of try and push across, but units from that location do take quite a while to get over there.
Yeah, as you mentioned, scouting for medevacs and having the opportunity to send a few zealots to the 3rd base, especially if there's no bunker.
Yeah. Well, now, Blink as well as +1 armor are on the way, adding on a few more gates. 3 gates, in fact, and still no sign of a 3rd base, which MMA does see. He has a Marine positioned to be able to spot that, and we see MaNa now finding himself a 3rd base as well.
Is he? Okay, never mind. He's stimming in with 1 Marine, just trying to check the size of the army. He does see the Twilight Council. He sees it's upgrading right now. He will confirm that there are Colossus. No, very smart by MaNa, pulling away the Colossus several times. So they haven't been seen, or he can verify how much of, like, he used the RoboBay tech.
I mean, let's think. Okay, so he's actually getting an observer as well. It's getting to the point where the 3rd's very, very late here for MaNa. Do you not think?
It is very late, but that's how it is on Merry-Go. If you take the 3rd too early, you will die. You will be punished. Unless you play like without forges and mass unit style, then you maybe can take it. But I think 11:45, that's okay-ish. I mean, obviously you want to have it earlier, but that's how they may play.
He's looking for the snipe. Actually, he's going to get it. There's no way to stop that.
Okay.
Oh, and well, this is one reason, I guess, why you have to take it late. And even then, it still takes a while.
Yeah, so he has to rebuild it. And MaNa is mixing in Immortals. So 3 Colossus into Immortals with Templar Archives. And that's exactly the moment when we see the 2nd starport. So this is good for MaNa. While for MMA, if he overproduces now, he might have a problem. But on the other hand, I think he's gearing up for a very, very strong attack. Maybe even with SCVs.
Yeah, could be doing. With that 2nd starport about to finish up, he's going to get a lot of Vikings out very quickly. Ghost Academy's on the way as well. Did he actually even see the Templar Archives?
No, not yet.
But, I mean, if he goes with 3 ghosts, I mean, that's a very, very standard timing that we see come out.
Yeah, exactly. I just wanted to mention that you can be very aggressive with 3 ghosts, the double starport, and you have 2-1 upgrades. It's exactly what MMA is working on.
Yeah.
It looks a little bit like that timing, so that's something that Heron played very, very often for a while, so MaNa should have practice against it.
And let's not forget, I mean, this is MMA's tournament life on the line. He has to bring out the game that is going to give him the best opportunity to win this. If he feels that that is the best opportunity with these 3 ghosts on the way in about 30 seconds time, then, well, we're going to see some fireworks, because that 3rd base is very hard to hold here for MaNa.
Yeah, Storm is on the way, a 3rd Immortal as well. The 3rd base is being poked once more, but there's no way you can kill it right now.
MMA is adding on 3 barracks behind this at the 3rd base.
Okay.
So
he decided to, yeah, whatever he wanted to do, he is not committing yet.
Not just yet, not just yet. I think he understands that his 3rd base is a whole lot earlier than his opponent's. So maybe that gives him a little bit of peace of mind. But Storm is going to be finished soon, and that's a lot of AoE damage that MaNa's going to have.
Yeah, MaNa's adding the 2nd Forge now. He feels a little bit more comfortable once Storm is ready. He does have gas. Yeah, he's warping in 2 more High Templars, so he completely stop building Colossus for now. He's going to be safe with Immortal, Charge Lot, High Templar, and Storm, obviously. While MMA, if he wants to attack, he has to land his EMPs.
Oh, and he just drops a scan just out of this observer's vision that did see the Vikings rendezvous with this army in the middle. No SCV's coming with this, so it's just going to be a straight-up, almost maxed out army. 118 army supply against 93. All the scans drop to actually catch the positioning of this army, and MaNa was confined to a corner there. Has to be careful. EMPs land.
But he gets a ghost, 3 ghosts, and only one of the High Templars got EMP'd.
Uh-oh, okay, are these Vikings going to be able to do enough to bring down these Colossi quick enough? The Storms aren't that amazing just yet, as the army for MMA has a brilliant arc. A Storm lands on the right-hand side, killing off a little bit of that army, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Another good Storm, though. But will it even hold back?
He has more Storms.
Oh, trying to catch them. Gets on top of these High Templars. The Vikings land as well, bringing down the Archons, bringing down the High Templars. The cannon is going to fall as well, and there's not much to actually reinforce here. Only Zealots alone? Yeah. It's not going to work out.
Yeah, even though his EMP didn't land on the High Templars, I think he got some beautiful EMPs on the army.
GG. MMA ties up the series with just true, standard, solid macro Terran.
Man, that could have gone either way, I believe. If MaNa maybe spreads a little bit more, and 2 of his High Templars with very full energy were in the natural and main base, so the last Storms he hit, when the very good ones, they came a little bit too late. If you hit them earlier, because the High Templars are in position, then maybe MMA can push through. And you get the time you need for maybe like adding one or two more Colossus to be in a very good position.
Well, 1 map left now. Overgrowth will be our map. Do you feel that it's a little bit easier here for Protoss to at least take a quicker third merry-go-round?
Yeah, definitely.
It's going to help out that kind of plan a little bit better if he wants to go for that again.
Definitely, yes. Yeah, you can take the third a little bit earlier here. So what did MaNa do? It was just very straight up. There was no Warp Prism in the mix, no Stargate, no DTs, something like that. Yeah, Overgrowth. It's a very straight up map, actually. It's the best map we have in the map pool, I believe. Like all races actually like Overgrowth. It's being picked the most in WCS, I believe.
Yes, yeah. I believe so. It's been around for a while. That might be one reason.
Yeah, obviously.
So, yeah.
That also speaks for the map as being very solid.
True. All right, let's get into it. The final game of the night. One of these guys is moving on to the round of 8. MMA can actually not lose this if he wants to keep good, strong hopes alive going on. Let's get into things. Spawning down to the bottom left-hand corner, it's our red Terran. Representing Team Acer, it is MMA. And up to the top right-hand corner, we have our blue Protoss. Representing Team Liquid, it's MaNa.
I don't know what to say. It's a cool best of 3 so far.
Yeah.
I really like it, yeah.
Still options, I feel, for MaNa, though. Still options.
Definitely, yeah.
I mean, we've seen people like Wellmu, for example, using very aggressive 2-base plays on this map and doing very well.
Yeah, you know, before the game started, Wellmu was like, MMA is not so good against all-ins. I would all-in him.
Yeah.
And then I said, okay, you have to tell MaNa, not me. And I was like, yeah, I told him before, but I don't think MaNa is that good of an all-in player. I was like, no, definitely not as good as you, Wellmu.
No.
And he was agreeing. He was like, yeah, it's true.
Wellmu is one of the kings of all-in when it comes to Protoss 2-base against Terrans.
Yeah, it's very aggressive builds, definitely.
But he takes pride in it, and why on earth not? If you're going to win a game like that and hit it really hard, you know, you are a feared player. You are a feared player.
Especially if you can mix it up, like both styles.
Yeah. All right, so actually being extra cautious, checking his main base as well, just to make sure that MMA is keeping things normal and down the line here in this last game of the night.
And that's important, because MMA, he was down 0-1 against Golden, and then that's what the map where he proxy rexed on Deadwind, like in the middle of the map, going for a proxy Reaper.
MMA is not afraid.
He's not afraid, not at all. And I like it that MaNa is going for an early scout, even checking his natural and his main base, just in case if there's a proxy barracks, because last week we saw Yoda doing it.
Yes, we did.
Against Sun, I believe. So.
And he made it look pretty easy, actually.
Yeah, definitely. If it's not scouted, we'll kill you.
Yoda's looking good this season. Looking good. We'll see more of him.
And once again, the probe is trying to sneak out, but I think this time MMA is actually not falling for it. Yes.
I'll sit around here.
Yeah.
And deny, 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 deny.
Because it happened in almost every game, I think. The first best of 3 and just the last one as well.
Yeah.
But he's not going for an eBay block, so...
Get out of my way. Okay, yeah. Has to leave. Has to leave. Nexus is going to be thrown down. Lickety split behind that.
He even cancelled the Zealot, so Mothership Core is on the way. Additional barracks, so we won't see any kind of Hellions or Widow Mine drops.
Okay, so the big question is how is MaNa gonna play out the mid game for me? I feel I anticipate, fully anticipate from MMA side of things to not play anything too wacky. I think he feels so comfortable in his macro ability after, especially after that game. Although you know Merry-Go-Round's a little bit of an odd situation to just kind of play this straight up. 3 barracks is going to allow him to put on some pressure early on. Maybe hunt out for those Fortune overcharges, which would always be nice, as that command center is about to finish up.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, I think especially Twilight Council again. So that's what we saw in the first best of 3. Like 3-gate blink, then he was following up with a Robo into Colossus. I don't see him making early DTs. I think it would be nice to see, because maybe it will actually caught MMA completely off guard. But it's such a huge gamble. If your DTs don't do anything, you're basically so far behind.
Yeah.
I mean, you invest so much into it. You have to deal damage. And the Reaper might even find out about the Council.
Ooh, it's all the way in the back corner, so he has quite a bit of time to be able to delay that Stalker. Is he going to be able to intercept in time? Is he going to even go down there?
Yeah.
Yes, he does. Okay.
A Robo right away.
I think he may have abandoned the plans.
Could it be DT drops?
Oh, could be. Yeah.
Oh no, never mind. There's Blink on the way.
Okay, okay. Guess he's going to be used that for defensive purposes here during all of this. As with the Robo on the way as well, has a little bit of opportunity to transition on once he's dealt with any kind of aggression.
MMA should be careful with moving out like this. He spots the Twilight Council. Maybe he will just take the Watchtower though. But if you spot the Twilight Council and the Protoss actually has like 3 gateways already, he didn't check behind the natural or somewhere, and if the Protoss starts to warp in a lot of Stalkers, you will get punished for that.
Yeah, it's a very, very scary spot. Very scary. Those two, the Marauders are very, very important in that. But even if your opponent has a lot of Stalkers, they can actually, if there's no concussive shell there, you can actually like get good angles and try and focus down the Marauders and then come back. And so
exactly.
you can dance with it and make it very, very difficult for the Terran.
And MaNa is still hiding a probe nearby the third of MMA. MMA is looking for it right now. There's a Marine. I think they won't see each other though. It's very close, but
close call.
Yeah. Nope.
Unless he moved.
Okay, so yeah, it's probably just for scouting, I believe, because it doesn't look like MaNa want to be aggressive at all. He's adding his Robo Bay, he's adding a Forge. And he, of course, first of all, he has to defend against the combat shield attack that is on the way. With Stimpack, though. Yeah, it's completely 3 Rex before anything else, so MMA wants to deal damage here.
It's a strong force, very strong force. Army supply, 32 to 10. Yeah. All right, but those 2 gateways finishing up means that the triple warpins can start occurring. And
just in time.
Yeah, Robo Bay's just about to finish up. So he just needs to buy some time for that Colossus, but it's he's going to have to buy quite a bit of time. Fortune Overcharge needs to work really, really well. He's actually just going to keep going.
Yeah, he has to. The Terran has to.
Oh, the Nexus. He's going to try and bring this down.
MaNa has to fight.
There's no way to save it. There's absolutely no way to save it. It's going to fall. MMA with a great pickup here in game number 3. Brings that down. He's going to take the fight straight. No more Fortune Overcharge. No extra damage. The Stalker's going to have to be microed so perfectly. Yes, he kills off the majority of the Bioforce, but he's lost so much of his income.
That was a neat call by MMA. Like, straight away he was going for the Nexus, and MaNa, he had hesitated a little bit, like 5 seconds before he actually pulled his probes and was like, no, you're not going to get my Nexus.
And MMA now, he's bunkering up behind this. He knows that all he has to do is kind of hold on against anything that would be the follow-up, and he's going to be absolutely flying ahead. His income is vastly superior right now. He's adding on his production. He's getting +1 upgrades. I think all he has to do now is worry about any kind of Colossus poking forwards, but even that won't have range.
Yeah, they don't have range. MaNa is still rebuilding his Nexus. It will take a while. He's adding 3 sentries at home right now, and this is looking extremely good for MMA. MaNa's even supply blocked because of that. everything is on hold, basically. He can't warp in units, he can't produce probes. The only thing he's producing is a Colossus.
What a pounce. What a pounce by MMA. I mean, after seeing the Twilight Council, after realizing that there wasn't going to be the follow-up, during all of that, just pushing on forward. I mean, getting the Twilight Council before the Robo, right, it delays the Robo, so it's going to delay the Colossus from coming out. So I guess all of these things are going on in MMA's head, and he realizes he can just push for that big, big damage.
Yeah, and MaNa realized too late what was going on. I remember Hastem against Jakji. Jakji was going for the same build, but Hastem, he had the feeling it was coming. I think he even scouted it, and he got an Immortal, for example. And he prevented the Terran from really committing towards the Nexus. So this is a tough spot. MaNa isn't out 100%, but it's going to be a very hard road for him.
Going to be difficult. Third command center is on the way for MMA, whilst the Nexus at the Natural is only really just completed up for MaNa now, and is starting to work away at those minerals once again. So he's trying to get the Colossi out, and did he forget range, or did he finish it?
No, you, like...
I mean, I guess he couldn't afford it, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Like, you can't get it right now. You have to get at least a second Colossus, and then you will probably start it, but he's so low on gas.
This is a brutal position.
He warped in 3 sentries. That's one more than you usually want to have, I believe. Or at least for most Protosses, I would say.
Yeah.
So maybe if he wouldn't have get the 3rd sentry, you could have started the range a bit earlier. But I don't think, to be honest, it makes that much of a difference right now. He's behind, and he has somehow to take a very good engagement. Maybe getting the Medivacs or something like this. But it will be tough. It will be very, very tough for him.
Yeah, range starts now, so a little bit over-asserting in, oh, he forgotten it? No, he just didn't have the money after that Nexus fell. As he's poking forwards again, and he may have got a little bit of inkling that there was no range there during that, but you know, even that, it doesn't really matter, because this 3rd command center back at home is going to give him so much economical power, so much production, that MaNa's catch-up capabilities are slowly diminishing.
What did I say on Marigo? When did he get his 3rd base? Was it 11:45 or something?
I can't recall.
Okay,
I can't
me
recall.
neither, but this 3rd is at minute 14, so that's very late. That's, I mean...
So delayed, so delayed.
Yeah. MaNa split it up his force very well. All the Stalkers in the main, while the rest at the 3rd. Given he has a rather small army, so that's not that much, but at least he tries whatever he can do right now. He's once again adding Immortals into the mix, and probably going for Templar Archives once more.
Yeah. I mean, so far, MMA has read game number 3 so well, to the point where he's fighting so diligently for this. Got a little boost in there with 4 medevacs, and the Vikings have been spotted on the left-hand side as well. Army supplies, 102 to 66. This is a massive army barreling down towards this 3rd base that, unless MaNa takes a great engagement, the Colossi, they're going to get picked down again from these Vikings. One of them dies before even anything's happened. And on the right-hand side, ooh, looking to chase that one down. But this is a huge bio army here from MMA, looking to destroy everything at this 3rd base. Time Warp looks to slow all of this down, but it's not even going to matter. MMA just has so much firepower. The 3rd gets cancelled. A great play here in game number 3 by MMA.
Yeah, the Colossus basically all die before doing anything. There's a Widow Mine as well. And the Bioforce is so big, he's cleaning up the rest. 150 against 88.
No AoE damage available to MaNa. A valiantly fought effort here. But MMA continues powering on and on and on. Is never down and out, because right now he is sat outside his opponent's natural with a healthy Bioforce against only gateway units.
Yeah, charge is not even finished. MaNa is falling a little bit apart. He has so much minerals and gas.
GG, well played. MMA moves on to the round of 8. He was looking a little bit shaky there at the start of this series, but he shows in game number 3 why he has the heart of a lion.
Yeah, look at him. You know, is congratulating him right now, and he's smiling again.
He looked nervous during that series.
Definitely, yeah.
He did.
After the first map, he was like, oh my god, why did I build tanks?
Yeah.
What's wrong with me?
And then decided in the next 2 games, no, I won't do that anymore.
Yeah, let's go back to Bio, Widow Mine, Bio, Medevac, and Vikings. But yeah, he looked relieved, and it was, I mean, he crushed him in the 3rd map, because he was so far ahead after the Nexus, but it still feels so good if you win a game like that.
And MMA, he's looking at a round of 8 finish, but he's looking at the bigger picture. He is looking at BlizzCon. He is looking at the opportunity to play in Anaheim at BlizzCon. And this is so important for the guy. So big congratulations to MMA for moving on in 2nd place. He'll be playing in the round of 8 our finals here in WCS Europe.
Yeah, both Koreans topping the group. We have one Zerg advancing to the round of 8. And yeah, nice to see, I have to say.
Impressive stuff. So that does it from us here at the casting desk. Without further ado, let's hear from the 2nd place finisher of Group C. It's MMA.
Thank you very much, James. Yes, MMA, congratulations on the win, but more importantly, congratulations on reaching the round of 8 and keeping your BlizzCon hopes alive. Explain to me, in game 1, when you lost, what was going through your mind? Were you thinking about BlizzCon? Were you thinking about the quarterfinals? What was happening?
첫 번째 게임에서 만화한테 졌을 때 뭐 블리즈컨 생각도 나고 뭐 무슨 생각이 났었는지.
일단 처음부터 블리즈컨 생각이 났고 이러다 1년 농사 망치는 거 아닌가. 1년 동안 포인트 잘 쌓았는데 마지막 경기에서 이렇게 지면은 블리즈컨 나가보지도 못하고 이 자리에서 그냥 끝나는 건데 진짜 2, 3경기 그래서 최대한 신중하게 했던 것 같아요.
Of course, I was thinking about BlizzCon because I've worked the whole year for this, and if I would have lost the next game, I'm out. So yeah, I was thinking about it the whole time.
Okay, so how do you ignore that, stop building tanks, and then start map 2 and start doing it the right way, the way that you've done it before?
그럼 어떻게 그런 생각을 억누르고 다음 맵에서 이제 이렇게 잘했는지.
솔직히 2번째 세트도 준비를 뭘 해야 될지 몰랐어요. 근데 그 훈이 매니저께서 와서 그냥 안정적으로 하면은 정찰하고 하면 이길 것 같다고 그래서 스카우트 하면서 했는데 그게 이겼던 것 같아요.
So to be honest, I didn't actually know what to prepare for the second map. So, but my manager, me, came to me after the first game and told me that I should play very safe and just play to the late game and just do what I always practice. So I did it and it worked.
Yeah, absolutely. So extra pay, more pay. Okay, good. So MMA is going to pay his manager more. So Inu's happy. Quarterfinals now for round of 8, WCS again, which is great. But again, are you always thinking about BlizzCon? Is it always about BlizzCon?
이제 8강이 갔는데 그래도 제일 중요한 건 블리즈컨이지. MMA 선수에게는 그게 진짜 언제나 생각하고 언제나 목표가 되는지.
그건 아니고요. 이번에 WCS 우승을 목표로 잡았고 WCS 우승을 하면은 블리즈컨도 자연스럽게 자신감 가져서 잘할 수 있을 것 같아요. 그래서 블리즈컨에서 뭐 우승한다 이런 마음은 지금 없고 일단 WCS에 집중할 생각이에요.
No, to be honest, at the moment my goal is to win WCS Europe. It's the last season, and if I win WCS Europe, I go automatically to BlizzCon. So I don't want to think about being a BlizzCon champion at the moment. I want to think about being a WCS Europe champion.
Okay, one final question. It's a very good night tonight for you and Golden, the old Slayers boys. Have you got anything to say about Golden's performance tonight?
오늘 그래도 명환이랑 성원이 형이랑 좋은 이제 다음 라운드로 가서 좋은 결과가 나왔는데 생각해 보면 같이 슬레이어스부터 같이 선수 생활을 했었는데 그거에 대해서 뭐 한마디 한다면?
일단 명환이랑 이렇게 WCS란 무대에서 만나서 즐거웠고 명환이 덕분에 한 10년 늙은 것 같아요.
I'm already worried.
I'm really happy that I had the chance to meet Golden in WCS Europe and play with them. But thanks to him, I feel like I'm older. Like I aged 10 years after those games.
Okay, but you're still younger than me, so that's okay. Good. MMA, ladies and gentlemen, is the second man through Group C alongside his longtime friend Golden, who also qualifies from Group C. And that is that from Group C, except for the final words of the day to our 3 commentators. Sean, take it away.
Red Eye, I'm joined with our two commentators today, Hazwobs and Kolaris. Fantastic job once again, and it's good to have a team of 3, not 2 this week, Kolaris. But let's take a quick look at the brackets just to summarize today, who went through, who didn't go through. And first of all, we had Golden through in first place, confirmed there as the bracket says so, and then of course MMA in second. Yes.
Really good call on Golden.
Thank you, Hazwobs.
He looked very strong today, I have to say.
Yeah, he definitely did. Surprising to many. Not many people thought he would go through in first place over MMA. I'm pretty sure both of you thought MMA as well, right?
Yeah, MMA. Again, I was actually expecting the Golden MMA series to go a little bit differently than how it did. I didn't expect Golden to go aggressive in every single game, but he did, and it won out in the end. I expected maybe at least one longer game.
Yeah.
He played it very smart, I think. Like almost like every best of 3 he played was very smart by him. Every single map even. Like the small tricks he was doing, even like scouting with the Overlord, the proxy, Rex, then coming from the other side, not showing him for a while. Very smart. Yeah, I liked it.
So what was the thing that stood out the most for you in today's group then, Hazwobs?
That Velmo had such a hard time overall, especially the second best of 3. He was playing well against Golden, but completely fall apart against MaNa. Especially the first map, where it was pretty even. MaNa had slight advantage, but Velmo just had... Like, he was falling apart against War Prison, basically, and I was surprised by that. I thought he would do better.
And yourself?
Final series of the day, actually. I guess it's because it's fresh in my memory, but it was just really, really cool to see MaNa actually taking that first game. Of course, there was the decision of MMA to go tanks, and it was a little bit dubious because of how things played out from there on out. But once you're a Protoss and you're in that position and you understand what's going on and there is that commitment to tanks, then you can shut it down pretty hard. And he did well to capitalize on that. If you're given that kind of boon, why not take it?
Yeah, and so we have another 2 players through, another Terran through. So we've got actually quite a few Terrans making their way to the round of 8. But tomorrow is going to be an interesting day. We have, of course, Daishi, Stardust, MC, and 4GG entering tomorrow's group. That's going to be such an epic group set of players. It's an awesome list.
Could be 2 more Terrans.
You think?
No. to be honest, I don't.
It's going to be hard for the Terrans, I think.
Definitely, yeah.
I think we might see the 2 Protoss players go through there. Well, I guess we'll have to find out tomorrow. Well, thank you very much for your services once again, boys, today. Red Eye, where are you?
Actually, I've come and joined the crowd because they've been very good today. Well done, everyone. Yeah, you've done a great job of supporting the players today. Very noisy. We like that when they come down to the WCS studio. And as Apollo just said, we have a fabulous day tomorrow lined up for you with 4 more fantastic players. Daishi really up against it against 3 absolutely top European Koreans. Yeah, that's right. I went there. Tomorrow's Group D is the final one of the round of 16. But don't forget, we're back in early October for the round of 8, the quarterfinals, semis, and grand final to crown our final champion of 2014 here in Europe. The road to BlizzCon continues tomorrow. Make sure you're tuned in at 6 p.m. Central European Standard Time. We'll see you then.